Travis Thomas, and we received a consent for our bond modification motion. So I sent in a proposed consent order on that.
Okay, let me see. Ms. Russell, and you sent it to me. Let's see, pull sheet. Last thing I got from you is a pull sheet. Did you want to forward it again, Ms. Robinson?
Yes, I'll forward it to you again. I sent it to you, but I'll forward it to you again.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Oh, Hutton. I got it. Okay, it just showed up.
Your Honor, this is ADA Hiles. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. I hopped on just as y'all were talking about announcements. Y'all might have covered this, but position 7, Ibrahim Savain was indicted.
You already pulled that one in.
Judge, you sent that out on the pool on your sheet saying he was indicted and not to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An update. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think we had him pulled.
Perfect.
So once you sign the one on Hudson, I will make sure that Attorney Apicelli, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name, gets it and we get it.
Say it 3 times fast and backwards.
Apicelli is totally perfect. Thank you.
Sorry. And then I had one more thing. Attorney Gabe Banks said that there's a bond modification on his client.
Hey, Judge, we consented to that back on March 7th of 2023. It was already signed off on by a judge.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm not sure if the court needs to consider this anymore.
I mean, did he make it?
Yeah, he's already made bond.
Oh,
We
so-
modified his conditions to reflect that he can go to medical appointments. And that was the only modification we requested.
Okay.
And the court signed off on that.
All right. And what was his name one more time?
Graham Evitt, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. If it's been addressed, then that's fine.
Okay.
It's already been handled. Yeah.
And we came on just for the court's instructions, but can we be excused?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Is that it? That it? We got everybody. We got Bostic here, or a Bostic 2.0. Oh, Mr. Dabney.
Hey, Judge, how you doing?
Good. Long time no see.
I know, it's always a joy.
Yeah. Where is Bostic?
I'm here.
Ah, she's hiding down at the bottom. All right. And we got Miss Hunter, right? Is it Monty Hunter?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we'll start with Bernard Duffy. Okay, first of all, gentlemen, ladies, let's not move our hair. Let's not lay down on the wall. Sit up straight. 4 South, booth 3. Sit up straight. 4 South, booth 3. There you go. Face forward. All right, everybody. Gentlemen, we're addressing bond. We're going to address the amount of your bond, any conditions that may go with your bond. So pay attention. This is what I like to call a you problem. That means you need to pay attention. It's not your lawyer's problem. It's not your mama's problem. It's not your sister's problem. You folks need to pay attention. When I tell you the amount of your bond, I'm going to say each individual count. So when I do that, just keep up with it, okay? Your lawyer's going to send you a copy of your bond order after I sign it. When he or she does that, if by chance you're already out of jail, when I got out of jail, if I were you, I would call them and say, I need a copy of my bond order because it missed me coming through to the jail. All right? Because if I tell you to stay out of Fulton County or away from somebody or something you have to do, then it's going to be on you when you don't do it. Okay, so you got to keep up with that. Don't pick your hair. Don't rub your head. Don't put your hand in your head in your hands. I need you sitting up straight, looking forward. Don't bite your nails. Don't twist your hair. Don't lay down. Don't fall asleep. We'll get everybody out of here as quickly as we can. Okay, so we'll start with Bernard Duffy.
Judge, good evening. How are you?
All right, hold on. Are they here? Is Mary Ann Annex here yet? Yep. So when I call your name, gentlemen, you got to wave. I don't think Mary Annex is on yet. So we got Nikita Martin. All right, this is here. You go, Mr. Dabney.
Hey, how you doing? Yep.
Doing well. All right, let me see. This is position 19. 1 second. Oh, this comes up. Sorry, I got to pull up
Oh, you're fine.
this up real like waiting on Odyssey to open real quick so it could be open while I'm here. All right, and I also understand, ladies and gentlemen, there may be medical call. You can open your door and go out and get your meds, but if you get up and leave and I've called your name, I'm not going to be a happy camper. Okay. So stay in your seat and pay attention. Position 19, 22 CP 210122. Nikita Martin, 95 days without indictment. There's a $150,000 good bond. And on here, for some reason, it says that she's made it, Mr. Dabney. Aggravated battery, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, hit and run. It said small bail bonds. Did she make
Judge,
this or did they come off of it?
That's correct. They haven't came off of it. We did have a bond revocation hearing, and she was taken into custody back in January. So this
Okay.
is just a motion to reinstate bond.
Okay, go ahead. Preach. Rah.
Judge, that's correct. This is her only prior arrest.
All right,
So-
go ahead, Mr. Dabney.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Ms. Martinez, she is 37 years old. She is employed. She has 2 jobs. She was employed before her arrest, and they are holding those jobs for her at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium as well as Red Lobster. She does have 6 kids, which she does need to get back out so she can properly take care of. She's been in Fulton County since 2018, so she does have very strong ties to the community. No flight risk, only prior. This is her only arrest, Your Honor. So no need to feel that she will get out and reoffend again. She's had no contact with the victim in this case, Ms. Reeves, since she's been in custody, Your Honor. Again, you see that she has been in custody over 90 days. So we are asking for bond just to be reinstated. I believe that this the time that she served in custody is should suffice for the alleged violation. Of course, she was out on ankle monitor. We had her out on everything. There was no allegations that she violated anything with her ankle monitor, no mishaps with that. So we are asking for her to be her bond to be back reinstated. She did have something that she wanted to share with the court. I've already talked to her, so I know what she's going to say. And it's nothing about the case in itself. It's just, her wanting to let you know something.
All right, and she still live on Godby Road?
She is. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I did want to mention before she started, she is, I did receive notification from Women on the Rise that she was accepted into their program. So they have been meeting with her very weekly, Your Honor. So upon her release, they will be helping her with anger management, any other mental health needs that she may need, as well as housing needs, because her address will be changing soon, because I believe her lease is going to be up in September. But of course, she knows to update the court with that residence change.
Okay, all right. What says the state? Oh, you're on, I can't hear you, Ms. Broderick. Oh, I think maybe you're not connected to the microphone again. You remember you go down to the little microphone on the screen, you got to connect to the right one.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening. We actually have the victim on the call. I don't know the details as to what caused the company to come off of the bond. So I can't necessarily speak to that. But like I said, the victim is here, and I believe she may want to address the court.
All right, ma'am, if you take yourself off mute and raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, so the only thing we're going to say here is
Okay.
your feelings about bond, okay? I don't want
Yes.
you arguing about facts, details, anything like that. Like if she'd reached out to you, that's fine, but let's not make it real heated exchange, okay?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What you want to tell me, Ms. Reed?
Okay, so they issued her a bond. She knew the conditions. Soon as she was released from jail, she contacted me. She threatened my life. She threatened my family's life
Yeah, hold on.
And-
How did she? I'm gonna interrupt you. How did she contact you?
through text message.
Judge,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Boston.
What's up, Boston?
Check your phone. I'm sorry.
All right.
She contacted me through text message.
Just a
I-
minute, please.
Okay.
Okay. Booth 5 North, 3 North, booth 3, or 5 North, booth 3. Sit down. White t-shirt, come in and sit down, or leave or don't come back. You got a choice. It's not a television show. All right. So she contacted you.
Yes.
Okay.
Threatened my kids. I contacted my victim advocate and let her know. And we had a hearing set. Prior to the hearing, it was a mix up, so they had to do another court date, which was January the 17th. Prior to that, a voicemail came through my phone from a male victim threatening to once again harm
Okay, hold
in
on.
my
So I just need to know what she did, okay?
yes. Okay, yes.
Just stick with her.
Okay, basically she just violated what she didn't supposed to do. She knew it was no contact. She knows the conditions of it, and she didn't follow through with it. On top of her being out on a bond. So I don't feel like she should get a bond because I fear for me and my kids' life.
Okay. So I think Mr. Dabney's probably told you, I don't know if the DA, Ms. Broderick's told you though, she's constitutionally, I have to give her a bond.
Well, if you do give her a bond, can you make it high, please?
Well, I have to follow the law, so it's something that it's more than just that. I have to follow the law too, but I'll take into consideration yours. Mr. Dabney, you said your client wanted to say something, or have you changed?
Yes, I did. She did. Ms.
Hey.
Martin, want to speak and just know that anything that you're saying, it is being recorded. The state is here. So just make sure it's nothing about the facts of this case. It can be related to your bond conditions and things of that nature, but just make sure it's not about the facts of the case, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, Honorable Judge Manning. Thank you for allowing me to address the court. I am not thinking about this individual. I lost my son and my mother-in-law within the last year. I have 6 kids and a career. I have goals to go back to college and open a food business and obtain my CDL license. I don't want contact with her at all before or after this. I just would like to go to church, raise my 6 kids, work my 2 jobs, pay my bond, and go home. That's all I have.
Ms. Broderick.
Your Honor, based on the fact that there was a bond previously and the bond was violated according to the victim testimony, I think even if the court does decide to reinstate the bond, it should stay at $150,000.
All right. So no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Is she going to continue to live in Fulton County, Mr. Dabney?
Yes, Your Honor, she will. Her
Okay.
kids all go to school in Fulton County, Your Honor.
All
And
right.
Your Honor, we would ask for an ankle monitor.
Okay, this time I think what we'll do is one of the Talatrix. So Ms. Hunter, you know the language to put down on there about the Talatrix?
I have it.
Okay, so they're going to be a Talatrix monitor. And the victim advocate's office should be able to tell you, should be able to go on and look at Talatrix. And I'll let you know, Ms. Martin, she's not going to be able to follow you. But they have an app that if you come within like a mile radius or something of her, she gets alerted. I'm just giving you the heads up. Okay. Now if you go drive past each other on the interstate or something like that, yeah, it's different. But if you're going near her house or something like that, I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay. So Talatrix ankle monitor, that'll be paid for, or Talatrix monitor, electronic monitoring, however it is, and that'll be paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. So I'll go 50, 50, 25, 25. It's basically the last one. No further contact with LaShawn Reeves. Ma'am. You need to talk to Mr. Dabney because he can tell you maybe what's going to happen again if anything else like this happens, okay?
And Your Honor, we would ask that
Might happen, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we would ask that you put in a provision that she have no direct or indirect contact with Ms. Reeves or her family.
Yeah, it should say it on the bond, or no direct, indirect. That means, you can't tweet about it, send smoke signals, Facebook, don't talk with anybody, her family. What was her name? Don't even say the name LaShawn Reeves.
Okay, and there should be a provision made that she should not.
No, ma'am.
Don't talk.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
No, ma'am. All right. So there you go. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Dabney. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
All right, we
Ms.
got. Yes, sir.
Judge Marietta Annex is on. They actually have Bernard Duffy and Mr. Vincent Ajay are both located in Marietta Annex.
Okay, so we got Mr. Bernard Duffy. Is that who's up?
Judge, good afternoon.
Yeah. All right, are you Mr. Duffy? Wave your hand if you're Mr. Duffy. All right, thank you, appreciate it. All right, 22 CP 214568. 130 days of indictment, Bernard Duffy, possession of tools for a crime, possession of manufactured, distribution, sale of marijuana, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. Looks like there is a one count that we're going to address, and I guess that's the $10,000 good bond on the possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. Is that right, counsel? Because look, he's made the bond on the other ones.
I believe so, Your Honor. Looks like it's just that fourth count.
All right.
Judge, one prior arrest, open case, 22 CP 212704, obstruction, sawed-off shotgun, reckless conduct, theft by receiving stolen property. Nothing further.
All right. So go ahead, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Mr. Duffy is 19 years old. He does have a child on the way. He is from Atlanta. He grew up in Atlanta. He currently lives with his mother, the address being 3000 Stonehogan Connector Road. Prior to this arrest, he actually was working at a Colgate warehouse, so he did have a job. Hopefully, if he's able to make bond and if he's able to be released, he could go back to that job. He was also actually enrolled in an online school. From my understanding, from speaking with him, he actually had just 2 more classes left before he was about to obtain his GED, Your Honor. So he was, he did have things going for himself. He was being active. I understand that he does have one other open case, Your Honor. It does not appear that he has anything else other than that, including any other prior record, Your Honor. I would just note, based on the charges, it does not appear from this one or the other one, or especially for this one, that there's any violent crime being charged. Obviously, I don't know the facts yet, but just kind of based on the charges, it does not appear that he does have any that there's anything violent in nature necessarily going on. And I do not believe he is a flight risk, as he is from Atlanta. I have spoken with his mother. His mother calls me many times a week. So I do believe that not only would he have somewhere to go, but he would have someone who.
What address are you gonna live at?
It's 3000 Stonehogan Connector Road. That's where his mother lives.
That's in Atlanta?
Yes, Your Honor. Southwest
Okay.
Atlanta. So he does have a place to go, Your Honor. And it looks like right now the bond is at 10,000. I would ask if that can be reduced, given I believe the other 3 counts. It looks like the total, the aggregate was 6,000. So I would ask the court to reduce that 10,000 to a reasonable amount. If the court wants to reduce it to make the aggregate of all 4 counts 10,000, that would be greatly appreciated. But I would ask that the court just reduce that specific count, I guess, which is the only one that we're addressing today, of 10,000, just to have that number reduced. I do understand that he is still also being held on another case, and I think that one I'll just have to file a motion for reconsideration. But I would hope that in the event he is able to make the bond in that one, the amount won't be too much, which will allow him to be released and back into society until his trial date.
Ms. Broderick?
Your Honor, the fact that there's an open case already, and then these new offenses came up before the open case was even resolved, seems as it shows a propensity for reoffending. And Your Honor, we would ask that you at least, if we're only addressing the possession of a firearm,
He's
we're
made
asking,
the other bond, yeah.
yeah. So Your Honor, we're actually asking that you leave that at 10,000.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. And the reason I did that is because you got the other case that's a gun charge, and we don't like you to have any guns. No further contact with your co-defendant. DEONTA, last name Walker, WALKER. Let's see. No further contact with Marquez Merritt, MERRITT. 1 second. And when I say no weapons, that means guns, replicas of guns, knives, nunchucks, anything like that. $8,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, that concludes my matters. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, let's see. What's the other folks' name? Mr. Vincent. Second, it's kind of in a different order here now.
And Your Honor, this is Attorney Daphne. I had a quick question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
In regards to my client, she is back in front of Your Honor, I believe in South Annex, but I just wanted to ask if is this reinstating her bond? Because the bondsman hasn't officially came off the bond. They actually have told her that they're not going to come off the bond.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
violation on their part, as
Uh-huh.
far as like the ankle monitor. So I would just ask if you can just reinstate the bond.
She's not gonna have to make it. It's still the same amount, right?
Right, but the jail had called me and they just wanted clarification as if it was a new bond.
No,
versus-
it's basically reinstated. I just added a
Okay, perfect.
condition, yeah.
Thank you. That's what I figured, but I just wanted to clarify. for
Oh,
us.
okay, yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All right, let's see. Is Anjay Vincent? Sorry, I may have destroyed your name, sir. All right, 1623 CP 215255. Let's see. Was 101 days without indictment. And there is a $10,000 split bond, meaning the first 3 charges don't have a bond, but the last charge does have a $10,000 bond. So theft of services, felony, possess, display, false identification with government logo or seal for criminal act, financial transaction card fraud. Those are on low bond, and willful obstruction. There's a $10,000 good bond.
As in regards to Mr. Vincent, 11 prior arrests in Georgia. He has numerous holds. 1 for Georgia Tech for trespassing, Lawrenceville for larceny, Jonesboro for drugs. He has an open case for trafficking. He's on probation, 16 SC 141567, trafficking in cocaine, Schedule 4 with intent, Schedule 2, firearm by 2 counts. It's a 30-year sentence, 8 years confinement, 22 years probation. He has a 2011 prior armed robbery, 2016 firearm by a convicted felon, 1 FTA in 2020. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Fortis.
Thank you, Judge. My client is 31 years of age. He's been in Georgia about the last 7 to 8 years. He attended college at Georgia Southern. He completed high school also in Georgia. He was in nursing school. He does have 5 children up to 11 years of age. He was also working at the bucket shop as a cook, which is over on Lenox Road. I believe he still has his address in Riverdale. He's been in over 100 days without indictment. What I would ask the court to do, just given these charges, I would ask for a $10,000 aggregate bond on all charges, $3,000 on the felonies, and $1,000 on the obstruction. The obstruction had to deal with him giving a false name. It didn't have to do with him not obeying a command and being belligerent. So I would ask the court for a $10,000 good bond on the 4 charges.
All right, sir. Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Is that Riverdale? Is that a Clayton County address? Okay, got you. What says the state?
Your Honor, based on the past history, there's clearly a propensity to reoffend. He was actually on probation at the time that these new offenses came up. And so, Your Honor, we're actually asking for $10,000 on the theft of services and $5,000 on all the rest.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay out of Fulton County, sir, unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Is that the only place he can work, Mr. Fortis?
Right now, Judge, he's been in for quite a while, so we're hoping that those employment opportunities are still existing.
All right. The only reason you come back to Fulton County is court to see your lawyer. Don't get gas. If you have to come to court or you have to go see Mr. Fortis, throw a snack in your car because you can't stop for a snack. Don't get a flat tire. Stay away from 2 Portia Drive. That's the Kinton Hotel, KINPTON Hotel. No further contact with Edward Thomas or Thomas Edward. It's got it both ways, so I'm not real sure. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew and no further contact with your co-defendant, Precious Pride. You can leave your curfews, court, lawyer, medical, or employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. You have to turn that over to the ankle monitoring company and to Mr. Fortis so he can supply that to the state. We got, let's see.
Judge, one question would be, if you're ordering an ankle monitor and he has some holds in some other jurisdictions when he makes a bond, I'm not sure that.
Yeah, we have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle once you get released from your hold. So if you got to go somewhere else, you have 48 hours to get in touch with the ankle monitoring company. If you don't, that's a violation of your bond condition. We square? All right. So we'll do 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, and 5,000. $20,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fortis.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, Jaquan Blakeney. Jaquan Blakeney. Nope. If I call your name, you got it. Elijah Snow.
Your Honor, I apologize. I was unmuting.
Judge, those are the ones at ACDC and she had to go take back the
Oh,
female, come
okay.
back with the
So
male.
Snow and Cox, right? Nope, Cox. All right. Got them too. All right. Let's see. Omar Cox. All right. There we go. Let's see. Ms. Ron here. Yep. Position 8. That's 22 CP 214623. Omar Maxwell Cox, 127 days without indictment, aggravated assault, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. As of December the 13th, there is a $60,000 good bond on that. 22 CP 214682. Omar Cox, criminal damage to property in the second degree and aggravated assault. There's no bond as of December the 15th on that. And then we've got ninth, position 10, 23 CP 216381. Criminal damage to property, discharging a firearm at or near a public street or highway, reckless conduct. There's an $8,000 good bond as of February the 20th, 2023. Preach, run.
Judge, these are his only prior arrests, these cases.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Rhonda.
Good evening, Judge Manning.
Good evening.
Here's Mr. Cox. He is 21 years old and he is born and raised here in the Atlanta area. He does have family here. He is a high school graduate, and prior to his arrest, he was taking classes at Omni Tech College. He was also working. He was employed at Qdoba at Hartsfield Jackson, and he had also just started a business called Father and Son Home Maintenance. He does have a good address on file. It is the 2784 Summit Parkway address where he would live with his parents. As pretrial stated, these are his first arrests, so he doesn't have any prior felonies. For position 8, 22 CP 214623, where his bond is currently $60,000, we would be asking for a reduction. We would be asking for $20,000 on the aggravated assault and $5,000 on the possession of a firearm to total $25,000. For position 9, 22 CP 214682, Mr. Cox is in no bond status, and as he has been in for over 90 days, he is entitled to bond. I would be asking for $20,000 on the aggravated assault and $1,000 on the criminal damage, so total bond as $21,000. And for position 10, his bond is currently at $8,000. I would ask for bond in that case to be reduced to $5,000 total.
All right, Ms. Broderick.
Your Honor, the fact that we have 3 open cases, to me, it seems as though, and the distance or the time between each offense seems as though the bond should remain the same, Your Honor.
Yes, we got one at no bond though.
For the no bond, 50,000 is what we're asking.
All right, let's see. On position 8, ending in 4623. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2470 Cheshire Bridge Road Northeast. No further contact with Marlon Williams. No further contact with Hayat, last name Bruck. No further contact with Kayla Drummons, Drummons, and no further contact with John Jon Grayson, Grayson, and no further contact with Uchenna, last name Uzodinma. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. You have to supply that to Ms. Rondon and to the ankle monitoring company. Also, if there's a hold for you somewhere, you'll have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle. No further contact with your co-defendant, CARMI Williams. So you got 40,000 count 1, 8,000 count 2. On position 9, ending in 4682. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2971 Summit Parkway in Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with Evelyn Johnson. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical, and employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you've been working. You got to do that to the ankle monitoring company and to Ms. Rondon. No further contact with Joseph Capers, Capers, and stay away from 2784 Summit Parkway. 10,000 on count one, 40,000 on count two. I'm sorry, it's Josiah, Josiah Caper. Sorry about that. And on position 11, 6381. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1100 White Street, Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with Kimberly Carlisle. No further contact with Taylor Potts, Potts. You can have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. And you got to do that with ankle monitor company and to Miss Ronan. So we got 1,000, $4,000, and $250. $1,000, $4,000, and $250. Best of luck to you, sir. See, Matthew Gaskins. Wave your hand if you're Matthew Gaskins. All right, there we go. All right, so position 11. All these are going to be 104 days without indictment. So we got 23 CP 215146. Theft by taking, 104 days, no indictment, no bond as of January the 4th. 23 CP 215147. Matthew Gaskins. Theft by receiving stolen property, theft by receiving stolen property, fleeing and attempting to elude. No bond as of January the 4th. 23 CP 215148. Fleeing and attempting to elude. No bond as of January the 4th.
Your Honor, I
Judge, those were
apologize.
indicted. I'm sorry.
Which one? That
The
one was?
148 was indicted.
Okay, 148 was indicted. Gotcha.
And the 149 case was indicted.
Oh, I just saw one that was indicted. They're 148.
I think you had it on your list.
Oh, I just, okay, so 149. I didn't put 148. Okay, so the 148. So excuse that last one that said fleeing or attempting to elude. So one ending in 150 hasn't been indicted, right?
Right.
All right, 23 CP 215150. Entering an automobile with intent to commit a theft or a felony times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is no bond as of January the 4th.
But in regards to this defendant, 11 total arrests, in addition to the cases that are on the calendar, I believe he has 5 other open cases. 21 CP 204-905, theft by taking. 21 CP 204-921, entering auto 2 counts. 21 CP 204-922, entering auto. 23 CP 215-150, entering auto 5 counts, loitering and prowling. 23 SC 186-826, theft by taking, financial transaction card theft, 2 counts. 23 SC 187-046, aggravated assault, terroristic threats, fleeing and looting firearm during, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Rondon.
Mr. Gaskins is 19 years old. He is born and raised here in Atlanta and has his mom and his mother's whole side of the family here in Atlanta. He does have 1 child. He did make it to the 11th grade and he's currently working, or he was working prior to his arrest, on getting his GED. He was also working with his uncle. His uncle has a construction and lawn service company. And so it's my understanding that he would be able to get that employment back upon being released from custody. He does have a good address on file. It is the 2880 8th Street address where he would live with his mom and his stepfather. For the cases on the calendar, beginning with 23 CP 215146, I would be asking for $5,000 for the theft by taking. For case 23 CP 215147, I would be asking for bond not to exceed $20,000. And for case 23 CP 215150, I would be asking for $5,000 per entering auto count and $250 for the misdemeanor.
All right. Ms. Broder.
Your Honor, for position 11 ending in 146, we're actually asking for 15,000. Based on the cases that we have on the calendar and the prior history, clearly there's a propensity to reoffend, Your Honor. For position 12 ending in 147, we're asking for 15,000 each for the theft by receiving charges and 10,000 for the fleeing and eluding. For Position 15, we're asking for, ending in 150, we're asking for 20,000 for each entering auto.
Okay, so he had an East Point address. Is it gonna be the Atlanta address he's living at? Ms. Rhonda?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, all right, position 11. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with RONEISHA, last name Brown, BROWN. Gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working.
And Your Honor, with regards to the medical, can we make, if he's not being released or taken out of the house on a stretcher, he has to stay at home unless it's, if we're talking about medical, it's not just, you know, the random.
Right. Right. All right, let's see. $7,000 good bond. Position 12. We got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Adam Taylor, no further contact with Jameel, JAMEEL McMorris, MCMORRIS. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're gonna be working. Sir, that doesn't mean you get a job, say, look, I got a job, and then you quit and you just keep going out acting like you're working, okay? Because the state's gonna follow up. Just so you know, the state gets a report of all these things, so they'll be keeping up with it. $10,000 per count, theft by receiving, and fleeing and attempting to elude. So that's 10,000 per count. And then position 15, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply, once again, name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, the exact location you're going to be working. Stay away from 582 Centennial Olympic Park. Let's see, no further contact with ADITYA, last name YADAVALLI. No further contact with Arianda Aguilera, Diego Trujillo, TRUIJLLO, William Batelan, BATELAAN, and PRAJAKTA Patel. No further contact with any of those other people, sir. And that would be 10,000 per count and $250 on the loitering and prowling. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the booth. What about Raylick Lampley? Oh, here we go. We got AC/DC back now. All right. So is it let me get Jaquan Blankley. All right, it's position number 1. 2-1. Yeah. 2-1 CP 198813. 103 days without indictment. I got entering an automobile with intent to commit a theft or a felony. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 8. Failure to obey traffic control devices, driving hit and run, and attempting to misrepresent a tag. No bond as of April the 2nd, 2021. I'm assuming sometime here he was transported like Department of Corrections and came back because he's only been here for 103 days.
That's exactly
right.
In regards to Mr. Blakeney, 15 prior arrests, currently on probation, 17 SC 154426, sentence for 121 for 5 years, Palm Act, 44 counts. This was initially. There's at least 18 counts of entering auto, 3 theft by taking criminal damage to property. In Cobb, there's a 2018 entering 7 counts. In Carroll, there's 12 counts entering financial transaction card. In Coweta, there's an entering 7 counts, theft by taking 5 counts. There's 1 FTA in 2018, and there's a 2021 parole violation. Nothing further.
All right, 7 North, booth 3. I hope you're not just bored and hey, 7 North, booth 3. 7 North, booth 3. Turn around. It's not time for you to chat with your friends, sir. Pay attention. Shut the door. Go ahead, Mr. Bowles.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Blakeney is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. We stay in frequent communication with his grandmother. I don't believe he poses a flight risk, and the state hasn't given anything to indicate that would be the case. He was in the Department of Corrections. He is paroled on that matter now, hence why he is back in the Fulton County Jail. And so you are absolutely right about that. I would ask on each count of entering auto, I would ask for 3,000. I would ask for 250 on each of the 3 misdemeanors.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, he has a lengthy history of entering autos. The fact that he was on probation and he had parole violations shows that there is nothing that is preventing him from reoffending, Your Honor. We're actually asking for 30,000 on each entering auto, considering the fact that most of his criminal history is entering autos. And then for the misdemeanors, we're asking for 500 each.
All right. So is his address going to be at Fulton County?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, a schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. You have to supply that to the ankle monitoring company and to your lawyer. Also, sir, you have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle in the event that there's some sort of hold or something that picks you up. No further contact with Anna Wick, Cochran Loxley, Loxley, Blake White, Alejandro D. Angel, Cindy, Sindi, last name Oregon, Melanie Morris, Latasha King, Candace Hawk. Stay away from 3145 Peachtree Road. Stay away from 1952 Howell Mill Road. Stay away from 1801 Howell Mill Road. Stay away from 253 Ted Turner Drive and also 300 Ted Turner Drive. $15,000 on each entering auto, $100 on failure to obey the traffic control devices, $5,000 on hit and run, and $100 on attempt to misrepresent tag. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the booth. Elijah Snow. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bowles, have a good evening.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, 22 CP 214852, 119 days without indictment. Got no bond as of December the 21st. Possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, possession of promethazine hydrochloride syrup, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, manufacture, deliver, distribute, administer, sell, possess with intent to control, with intent to distribute a controlled substance, driving under the influence less safe, fleeing, attempting to elude, impeding traffic flow, giving a false name, driving while license suspended or revoked, possession of Schedule 1 or 2 substance with intent to distribute, possession of Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute. Preach, run.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Snow, 18 prior arrests, open case 22 CP 207261, driver on suspended license, marijuana with the intent, MDMA with the intent, control 2 with the intent, cocaine with the intent, control 3, 4, 5 with the intent, aggravated driving. He has a couple of prior felonies, prior cocaine, prior Schedule 2 cocaine, another cocaine, and criminal damage to property by itself. 2 FTAs, 2010 and 09, 3 arrests for probation violations, 2 misdemeanors, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. LaScala.
Judge, good afternoon. I've known Mr. Snow forever. I've known his family. He's born and raised here. He has a fiance where he lives at 4061 Fox Hunt Lane. That's in East Point, Atlanta. He's never lived outside the city of Atlanta. If he's released and granted a bond, Judge, he is looking forward to getting his GED. He has worked construction. He's been working prior to this arrest. He was working on a landscape crew. His youngest is 9 months. He's looking forward to getting out, spending time with that baby. Judge, we have a defense to the case. He'll abide whatever reasonable expectations the court puts on him. He will thrive.
Okay. All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, we are actually asking for the possession of cocaine with the intent to distribute 100,000, the promethazine 100,000, possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute 20,000, manufacture of and possession of a controlled substance 20,000, DUI, 5,000, fleeing and attempting, 1,000, impeding traffic, 500, giving false information to a law enforcement officer, 500, driving on a suspended license, 500, possession of a Schedule 1 or 2, 30,000, and possession of Schedule 1 or 2, 30,000.
All right.
Your Honor, he would never be able to come up with those amounts, Your Honor. I was hoping an amount of 5,000 for the felonies and 1,000 for the misdemeanors.
All right, let's see. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Still gonna live on Spanish Trail,
Fox Hunt Lane,
Fox Hunt Lane. Okay.
4061 Fox Hunt Lane, East Point, 30344.
Okay, let's see. Gonna have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. You have to do that. You have to give it to Mr. LaScala, and you also have to give that to the ankle monitoring company, sir. And just so you know, they keep up with you. So, and they send a printout all the time to the DA's office. Let's see, what was this? Trying to get the weight on the, I'm gonna see the weight on the cocaine. All right. No driving unless you have a valid license, sir. Absolutely no driving. So we got, let's see, 20,000, 5,000, 10,000, 10,000, 5,000.
Your Honor, is 5,000 on the DUI?
Yeah.
Thank you.
3,000. 500. 500 and 500. 20,000, 5,000, 10,000, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000, 500, 500, 500.
I
You got
believe
all that, you got that, Miss Hunter?
I had 2 additional charges, I believe, 10 and 11.
What's 10 and 11? That's got 9.
I do have it.
Oh yeah, the 2 Schedule 1.
Yes, Judge.
Right, 5,000 apiece.
Judge, thank you so much.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Thank you, ACDC.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good night.
And also anything that's over like 200 days, I do email Miss Willis and tell her and copy their indictment division on there to make sure they get indicted. Speaking of that, I got this one. Raylick Lampley. Mr. Lampley. There we go. 22 CP 210859. 489 days without indictment as of December the 21st. There's a $100,000 good bond on aggravated battery, aggravated assault.
In regards to Mr. Lampley, 5 prior arrests. He took first offender, interference with government property obstruction, 52522 for 2 years, 2 misdemeanors, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Miss Rhonda.
Mr. Lampley is 20 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, and he does have his whole family here in the area. He does have his GED, and he also possesses his forklift certification. Prior to his arrest, he was holding 2 jobs.
I'm sorry, Miss Rhonda, hold on a second. 7 North, booth 1. Stop playing with your hair. Stop playing with your hair. All right, go ahead.
One job was with Amazon as a forklift driver, and the second employment was with Cascade Skating Rink. And it is my understanding that he could get both of his jobs back. He does have a good address on file. It is the 3080 Caddis Circle address. As Your Honor stated, he has been in custody for a significant period of time, well over a year. And his bond currently sits at $100,000. So I would be asking for bond to be lowered and to not exceed $40,000.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, based on the nature of the allegations, there was significant injury to the victim. We're actually asking for $50,000 for the aggravated battery and $25,000 for the aggravated assault.
Has there been contact with the victim? Because it's been 489 days.
This was an incident that occurred while he was in custody.
Right, but has there been any contact with the victim? I mean, victim.
I mean,
was the victim in jail? I mean, that's kind of easy to contact.
Your Honor, I have not made contact with the victim.
Okay. All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, the schedule and the exact location you're going to be working, sir. Let's see. And I'm going to put this on my email. No further contact with Anquavius, Anquavious, Allen, Allen. So we'll do 40 and 40. Best of luck to you, sir. And I'll put that in my stack right there. All right, Antonio Colbert. Let's see, Mr. Olaf. Oh, there he is. Thank you, sir. I got position 22, Antonio Colbert, 22 CP 214816, 119 days without indictment. There's a $5,000 good bond as of December the 20th on entering an automobile or a motor vehicle with intent to commit a theft or a felony. Free trial.
4 prior arrests, open case 22 CP 214430, firearm during pistol by someone under 18 entering autos, tools, obstruction. Nothing further.
4 South, booth 3, sit up. 5 North, booth 3. Gentlemen, sit up. We're moving quick. Go ahead, Mr. Olaf. Where'd he go? Mr. Olaf. Hey, Mr. Olaf. Mr. Olaf. Okay, let's see. Well, let's skip over here. There you go, Miss Rondon. Oh, I guess we should have asked, does Mr. Hernandez Nava need an interpreter?
Judge, I asked earlier and she confirmed via email that her client did not need the services of a Spanish interpreter.
Okay, so we'll go to position 3, Bostic, until Mr. Olaf gets back. 2-3 CP 215077. Daniel Hernandez Nava, 106 days without indictment, no bond as of January the 2nd. Armed robbery, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies, unlawful for a person employed by, associated with criminal street gang to conduct or participate in criminal street gang activity. Free trial.
In regards to Mr. Nava, 4 prior arrests, 1 misdemeanor, open case 21 CP 204646, criminal damage to property, aggravated assault with deadly weapon, disorderly conduct, cruelty, and 3rd criminal trespass, 2 counts and obstruction, 1 arrest for probation violation. Nothing further.
I know, I think you may talk faster than me, Bostic. Go ahead, Miss Rhonda.
Mr. Hernandez Nava is 24 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He does have family here in the area, to include his mother and extended family. He did make it to the 9th grade at Riverwood High School, and prior to his arrest, he was working at Atlanta Window and Gutter Cleaning. I would mention that we did just have a preliminary hearing in this case last week, and the unlawful for person associated by or employed by criminal street gang charge was dismissed by Judge Drake. So on the remaining charges, since Mr. Hernandez Nava has been in custody for over 90 days, he is entitled to bond. On the armed robbery charge, I would be asking for $30,000, and on the possession of a firearm charge, I would be asking for $5,000.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lyles.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Yes, I do want to point out the gang charge was dismissed, but that was because apparently the expert did not show up to testify at the case, so the judge couldn't find PC on that. I do want to talk about the gang, though, because I do think it's applicable to other bond conditions. Copeland 25 stands for Copeland Road, which is the name has been changed to Northwood Road, across from the Prado at in Sandy Springs, just off of Roswell Road. They call themselves Copeland 25 because it is exit 25 on I-285, which is right next to the Prado and the now Northwood Road. This crime was actually committed on Northwood Avenue, which was the rename of Copeland Road. Copeland 25 is a subset of the Serranos 13 criminal street gang. And I say all this too because the Glock that was used to commit this armed robbery actually had Copeland 25 inscribed on the slide. It is a gang that has terrorized that specific area, and they are known for intimidating witnesses in that particular area. And our victim in this case does live in that area. I would ask for $150,000 on each of the two remaining charges. I would also ask that there be no contact of any kind with any known criminal street gang members, specifically to be, but not limited to Copeland 25 and Serranos 13. And also no contact of any kind with our victim, in this case, Mr.
Barrow?
Yes.
Okay. All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Juan Hernandez Ferro, Ferro. And also no replicas of weapons, no social media. You have a Teletrix monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as he supplies the name of his employer, proof of employment, schedule and the exact location he's going to be working. No further contact with anyone that's a member of or affiliated with Copeland 25 or Serranos 13.
Yes.
Okay. And no further contact with your co-defendant, Victor Garcia Guzman, Guzman. Or any other gang member. I think I already said that though. 30,000 each count. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Olaf show up or no? Mr. Olaf. Nope. All right. How about this? Cedron Eric Tigner. Mr. Tigner.
No, I'm here, Judge.
All right. Mr. Tigner. Wave your hand for Mr. Tigner. There you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do Mr. Tigner real quick. All right. I got 22 CP 210959. 362 days without indictment, $20,000 good bond as of July 26, 2022, of possession of a weapon by an inmate.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Tigner, 12 prior arrests, first offender probation, 5-3-19, 2 years confinement, 8 years probation, open case, 22 SC 180310, entering auto, signed to Judge Barwick. And then there's 17 SC 154582, participation in street gang, 15 counts, theft by taking 2 counts, sentence 1719. And there's a theft by receiving stolen property, entering auto, 2 counts, criminal damage to property, and a 2019 theft by receiving stolen property. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Rhonda.
Mr. Tigner is 22 years old. He will be turning 23 this week. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, and he does have his whole family here. He does have a good address, which is 230 Kestrel Circle. I believe I need to update his address with the clerk's office, and I will do so tonight. That address is his grandmother's house. He is 1 test away from getting his GED, but issues at the jail. It's my understanding that he hasn't been able to take that last test in order to complete the GED program. He also completed the Thinking for a Change class in December of last year. Prior to being incarcerated, he was working at Spectra, which did gutter work and cleaning for homes around the Atlanta area, and he could most likely get his job back. Mr. Tigner has been in custody for, I think Your Honor said 362 days, which is a significant period of time. He currently has a $20,000 bond on this case, and I would be asking for that to be reduced to $5,000.
Okay. What says the state?
Your Honor, we would actually ask that the bond remain the same based on the prior criminal history.
No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons out there or in here or in the jail. Okay. So we'll give you $10,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. I'll put that on my email this evening, Ms. Rondon. All right, Mr. Olaf, you ready? So we got Antonio Colbert once again. Mr. Colbert.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
Hi, Judge.
Right.
Sorry about that. I'm having some technical difficulty with this.
Oh, that's all right. 22 CP 214816, 119 days without indictment, entering automobile or motor vehicle with intent to commit a theft or a felony. $5,000 good bond as of December 20th.
What number was he again?
22.
22. Sorry about that. 22, Colbert. 4 prior arrests, other open case. 22 CP 214430, firearm during pistol and under 18 entering auto tools obstruction. Nothing further.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Olaf.
Yeah, Judge, and I just found out earlier today that he had that other case and hadn't been assigned to me yet. So I found out about that, if we could address that possibly. But Mr. Colbert is he's only 18 years old. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. His family lives here. He planned on graduating high school in May. He worked at a box truck company for 6 months, and he believes that he returned before he was incarcerated. He was working for a box truck company, and he believes that he can return. His address on file is a good address. He would live there with his mother and his grandmother. And again, he's been there for a while now.
119 days.
Yeah, so we're trying to just address both cases if possible, Judge, to get him a bond.
I can't really address this one since the state hasn't been put on notice and not.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand, Judge. There's also another case.
If you get it, file your motion, we'll get you on.
All right, thank you. I'll get that done this evening. Yeah, we just try to get a bond reduction. This judge is the lowest amount possible.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, I believe, if I heard correctly, the bond was set at 5,000 already.
Yes, ma'am.
We see no reason why it should be any lower. The fact that he is so young and this isn't the first arrest and there's another pending case, 5,000 is significantly reasonable, and we ask that you keep it the same.
All right, I'm gonna make some changes to it, so I'll reduce it some. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 930 Spring Street Northwest. No further contact with XIAO, last name SUN. You can have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employee, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working, sir. If there's a hold anywhere that pops up, you got 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle. $4,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, I got Thomas Reed. All right, 22 CP 213674, 166 days without indictment. There's a $7,500 good bond as of November the 4th on theft by shoplifting. Free.
What number was that, Your Honor?
Number 1. Thomas Reed.
Oh,
He was on that.
gotcha.
Yeah.
6 prior arrests, criminal trespass. It doesn't appear to have any felonies. Prior driver with a suspended license, FTA in 2020. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Olaf.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, Mr. Reed is 34 years old. He's lived in Georgia since June of 2020. He has some college at Long Island University. He just got a job at the Waffle House the day before the incident occurred, but he thinks he can get a job back there. He's the address he can stay at is 1375 Northside Drive West. Has a friend there he can stay with. And Judge, this is a shoplifting case. I know the alleged allegations are still a crime, but he's been in there for quite some time for a shoplifting case. He is indigent, or he can't really afford any bond. So we just request again the lowest bond possible, Judge. Thank you.
So there was a prelim. Is there a prelim this morning on this case?
No, not in
No, Judge.
North prelim.
No, there was one last week.
I see a bond order a prelim order that's filed in.
Yeah, we had a preliminary hearing last week, but she didn't address bond. She wouldn't address it because it was already scheduled on your calendar.
Oh, okay. Not what the email said there, did it, Miss Lewis? So to address it. All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, I don't remember if there was amount that was already set for the bond.
7,500.
I'm sorry, say that again.
7,500.
Oh, Your Honor, we're fine with leaving it up to your discretion.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from all Barnes and Noble bookstores, especially the one at 48 Fifth Street in Atlanta, Georgia. And I believe that's Georgia Tech property. So stay away from all Georgia Tech property. $4,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Let's see. I've got Contavious Howard, Mr. Howard. All right, we got 22 CP 210992. 543 days without indictment. Possession of dangerous drug by an inmate as of July 27, 2022. There was no bond. And obviously there was a charge before that, and that's why he's been in this long. But
Judge, 12 prior arrests, 3 misdemeanors, 2 FTAs, 15 and 17, 1 arrest for probation violation. Took a PTI scheduled 2 times schedule 4 criminal trespass in 2016, 2016 schedule 4 substance in custody for 23 SC 186593, Rico street gang 8 counts, Carnicelli, 22 SC 183769, Rico and gang 9 counts, Carnicelli. Nothing further.
all right, go ahead, Ms. Rondon.
Mr. Howard is 26 years old. He is born and raised here in Atlanta, and he does have a big family that does live here. He does have a good address, which is the address on file, which is 5005 Harris Street. That is his uncle's house. He does have his GED, and prior to being arrested, he was working as a barber at Roots Barbershop. He has been a part of the barber detail while in custody and has been doing that for the 540 days that he has been at Rice Street. While another case has had him in custody, he has done 267 days on this case specifically. And so he is entitled to bond, and I would be asking for bond to be set at $5,000.
All right, says the state.
Your Honor, the fact that he was already in custody for an issue, and then committing additional offenses while in custody shows a propensity for committing offenses. Your Honor, we're actually asking that you set bond at $30,000.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. No further contact with your co-defendants. Robert Robinson, Aaron ERON, McCary MCCARY, Larry Thomas, Trevis TERVIS, Buford BUFFORD, and Julian JULIAN Conley CONLEY. $15,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Judge, you said 15?
Yes, ma'am. We got also we got Douglas Croft. All right. Okay, you waving?
Judge, Mr. Croft is my case.
Are you waving? Are you waving sounding?
Judge.
Mr. Winters, are you waving sounding?
Am I waving?
Are you waving sounding? Would you like me to read the charges out loud?
Oh, no. Sorry.
All right, that's okay. All right. So obviously he already knows, but it's 23 CP 215220. Douglas Croft, 103 days without indictment. $13 counts.
I think this is only arrest in Georgia, 2 arrests in Tennessee, a misdemeanor possession in 2013 and a 2023 fugitive arrest. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Winters.
Judge, the fugitive arrest, I believe, is associated with this case. Georgia came to pick him up there. Judge, on behalf of Mr. Croft, he's 30 years old. He's been married for 8 years to his high school sweetheart, no children. He works full time at the Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga. He does live in Chattanooga. And I just want to let the court know, I know you've been doing the ankle monitors. Those do work out of state, so he can absolutely do the ankle monitor in Chattanooga as well. other than the misdemeanor marijuana, he has no criminal history, no failures to appear. He has been in jail over 90 days, so he is entitled to a reasonable bond. He is a high school grad, no college. He is a breadwinner in his household. His wife has some medical issues, so she only works part-time here and there at a thrift store. So he doesn't have a ton of money, Judge. So I'm just asking you to craft a bond that is reflects what he would be able to make. And if the court wants us to sign an extradition waiver or anything like that, we'd be more than happy to do so. He has no, like I said before, he has no children. No children live with him. He has no reason to be in contact with any children. So that's not an issue with special conditions. Judge, just a little bit about the case. This is purely digital conversation. There's no meeting with a minor or anything like that. It's just conversations over the internet that obviously led to these charges. And Judge, he can do curfew, just ask that he be allowed to go to work with any restrictions that you do set. So other than that, Judge, we just ask you set a reasonable bond in this case.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, based on the age of the other person involved in this case, we are actually asking for $25,000 on each count, and that he is not allowed to leave the state.
What does he have contacts here in the state? I mean, if we have an ankle monitor or a Teletrix monitor on him.
Judge, he does have family here in the state. If the court wanted him to live here in Georgia, he could. That would obviously be devastating to his wife, and his work is in Chattanooga. So I'd ask, he does have family here in Georgia who could co-sign on a bond as his contacts. Chattanooga, as we know, is just across the line. And like I said, he would sign an extradition waiver. And the police from Georgia came to his house in Chattanooga and picked him up. So obviously it wasn't too much of an issue for them to locate him. And like I said, the ankle monitor would work in Chattanooga, so he could be tracked from Chattanooga.
Mr. Broderick, we signs an extradition waiver.
Your Honor, the purpose is to make sure that he returns. So although law enforcement are able to go and get him, typically we request that the people who have to show up for court are actually here. We don't want it to be a situation where we have to go and try to locate the person and bring them back. So the state is still opposed to him leaving the state.
I guess I've let other people leave. I mean, I'd rather him stay out of Fulton County.
I mean, it is clearly up to the judge's discretion, obviously.
All right, let's see. So,
and Your Honor, you typically read warrants. I just wanted to make sure you read these.
Yes, ma'am. All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no access to internet, no social media. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. No further contact with anyone under the age of 18 years of age. I forget if the Teletrix works in Chattanooga. I think it does, but I think you have to like make calls. Just had that conversation with him. I can't remember. Okay. So we'll do an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you're going to be working. And obviously, sir, you'll have to comply with the no further contact with anyone under the age of 18. Can't be using the internet or social media, anything like that at work or anywhere else. This was the sting.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right.
So I'm not sure there ever was a victim underage.
Hmm. $25,000 on each count. Have you put it down for a prelim yet?
Yes, Judge, it's scheduled for a prelim, I believe, in a few days.
Is that in front of me? On Thursday, maybe?
I think so, Judge.
Okay. Yeah, that way we'll hear details on Thursday. But we can address, when I'm in prelims, if there's a body there, I'm addressing bond again.
And Judge, can we motion for bond reduction on that date
Yeah, sure.
if he's still in custody?
Absolutely.
Judge, it's being heard on the 19th at 1 o'clock. I'm not sure.
Here's Judge Drake.
Oh, it's Drake, it's not mine.
Nope.
I address it, file something though, just in case. I address it. Everybody should address it. Judge McBurney and Judge Ingram asked that if they're in front of you, even beforehand, I was doing it, that you're supposed to address it, even if they're on a nighttime case. But now, right, Miss Lewis. Now, see. So, anyways, all right. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Have a good one. All right, let's see. Emmanuel Robinson. Mr. Robinson is position 23, 214 days without indictment. Right now, there is a $30,000 good bond. It shows, Mr. Olaf, that he made that. Did he make it or was it revoked?
Yeah, I think it was revoked, Judge.
All right, 214
again,
days. Possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Yeah, it said second chance bail bonds, cash back, 30,000. Free. Rah.
So, Your Honor, is he 23 and 24?
Oops, sorry about that.
Yes. Yeah, he is.
A minute.
I think that was a duplicate.
Yeah, it's a duplicate. It's the same case.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, bust it.
Judge defendant, probation 18 SC 163977, theft by receiving obstruction, 2 counts, criminal trespass, sentence 11/8/19, 10 years. 19 SC 165519, theft by receiving street gangs, and it's 11/8/19, 10 years consecutive. 5 years, 15 years probation. 15 SC 16558, missing a number, street gang activity and theft by receiving. Same sentence. He has a hold indicator for public peace, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Olaf.
All right, Judge. Mr. Robinson's lived in Atlanta his entire life. His family's here. He's got 5 brothers and 2 sisters. He's made it through the 10th grade. He was working at Tollgate in a warehouse before he was arrested. His address on file is, I'm sorry, the address he'll be staying at is 3800 Black Shoals Parkway, and it's in Decatur, Georgia. We just asked for a bond not to exceed $10,000. So thank you.
All right. And Mr. Winters, he can go back to Tennessee. I don't know if I said it because I was looking at something, but he can only come back to Georgia for court and to see you.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. What says the state on Mr. Robinson?
Your Honor, we actually believe, based on the criminal history, that the bond at 30,000 is sufficient.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1425 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard. You have income monitor paid for by the county, a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, the exact location you're going to be working. No further contact with your co-defendants, Johnny Morris and Nicholas Dixon, Dixon. So it'll be 15,000, 10,000, and 5,000. 15,000, 10,000, 5,000. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the booth.
All right, Judge, that's my last case for the evening. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. And I'll put that one on my email to Ms. Willis.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, let's see. Now we got our motions calendar here. So bond modifications. Okay, so Heather Hutton, that one's been addressed, right?
Yes, Judge, that was addressed with the consent order.
Okay, and we got Randall Zachary. Get Ms. Clark here for Mr. Zachary? Nope, going once, going twice. What about Derek Turner?
Yes, Judge. I'm here for Mr. Turner, and he should be on the line also.
Mr. Turner, you got to turn your camera on. Mr. Turner, you got to turn your camera on.
Sorry, I was having issues.
That's okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, well, hold on a second. I guess let me see what we got. I'm ahead of myself. 22 CP 206704. Derek Cooper. He made $140,000 good bond with possession of amphetamine, trafficking cocaine, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession schedule 3, 4, 5, controlled substance with intent to distribute, VGCSA schedule 1 or 2, another VGCSA schedule 1 or 2, and another VGCSA schedule 3, 4, 5 with intent to distribute. And you're wanting to modify a bond condition. All right. Pre-trial. Anything I need to know?
Nothing, no new history.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Judge. So this came about, Mr. Turner's been out for about 9 months or so. He's been working for WLM during that time. He's done very well with them. He's progressed to the ranks of superintendent over the job sites there. About a month or so ago, he got an opportunity after a few other superintendents ended up leaving the job down in Florida. And they asked him to go down there. He wanted to take that opportunity. We did reach out to the state to see if they would agree to it. They would not. So that brought us to here. He's been out for about 9 months on the ankle monitor. He is allowed to work. We did get it modified back in November to allow him to come into Fulton County for work purposes. So we've been updating the state with some regularity whenever he's got to move around or has work projects that are outside of the prescribed bounds. But otherwise, we just want it. I think we missed the opportunity for the Fulton or for the Florida job. But just if it were to come up again, we're looking to see him progress with WLM. If that is to come up again, we would like to get modification of the bond condition, primarily as to the curfew, such that if he does have a work trip, he would go down there on WLM dime. They'd be setting him up in a hotel. We would know the job site he would be at, the hotel he would be staying at, and we'd be able to provide all that information to state ankle monitoring company, make sure everybody knows where he is. I guess in about another 3 months or so, we can be back before you to see about getting that ankle monitor removed generally.
Right. A year, ankle monitor's a long time.
Yeah, so, that's about where we are. Incident date originally was February of last year. So we've been waiting around a while on things, but everything's going very well from our perspective. We're just looking to keep up the good work that Mr. Turner's doing.
Ms. Broderick?
Your Honor, it sounds as though, and I may be missing something, that Attorney Cooper wanted to modify the conditions in terms of when he's allowed to move about.
So it looks like on here I put it from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. So that was a long time ago. So typically, I do like 24 hours except for court, medical, but then if you're scheduled. So I guess what he's wanting to say is the company he works with, if they have a project in Florida, that he'd be able to, he'd still have the same curfew, go to the work site, work, and he'd have to go back to his hotel, but that he'd be able to do that.
So as of right now, it doesn't seem like that's an issue because the opportunity is not there. So in terms of having the curfew and knowing where he's going to be, we can't necessarily say that we're going to modify that to allow him to do something that's hypothetical.
Well, the problem is that it wasn't hypothetical, that we had a concrete opportunity that was in place and y'all wouldn't consent to that.
Then it took you a while to get on my calendar.
Right. So now, now that we're 3 weeks, a month out or so from having that opportunity come up, they needed somebody in charge of the job site. And Mr. Turner would have been a great person to do that. But we couldn't get here. And with that residency requirement as part of the bond, he obviously wouldn't be able to, get back home by, 8 o'clock at night or whatever it is. He wouldn't be able to be home in time for his curfew if he has to work down in Florida. So we would just like to be able to provide for, if there is an out-of-state work opportunity, then just provide all that information. And I know that just changes the, must reside at this address for however long the work project may be. And, we're very familiar with the process of emailing the state as to, hey, Mr. Turner's got to be in Fulton County to hit this supply house or whatever. We're happy to let the state ankle monitoring company know about whereabouts, what all's going on. It is construction, so timelines are always a little bit hard to nail down. But as best as we know what's going on, we're happy to keep the state updated with everything. We just don't want to miss out on any other opportunities like the one that we've already missed out on.
So, Your Honor, with regards to the last modification that was allowed, he was allowed to travel for.
I'd kept him out of Fulton County. Imagine that.
Right.
So, and then he called back and said there was work in Fulton County. So I'm like, okay, he can come back to Fulton County for work. So I guess now it's presented itself, at least on one occasion, that maybe there was something, in Florida.
I mean, if the ankle monitoring company is still involved and they know, where you're going and the timeframes, I think the concern is just making sure that
it's reported.
It's a work issue, and when the work is done, he's back in the place where he's supposed to be. So if that happens to be the hotel room for, X amount of, I don't know how long these job trips are, but for the next 6 months, he's going to be staying at this hotel, and then you extend the amount of time that he's able to work, then, that seems reasonable. But we just can't have it a situation where we have no tracking whatsoever and he's in another state.
Right. So you said, so keep the ankle monitor on, and if he goes, like let's say he's got a job in, I don't know, Seaside, and he's leaving Tuesday and he'll be gone for 3 months. So you'd file something with the state, or at least, right, and say, here's what he's doing, or something like that. Somehow,
so that when we get
writing, Mr. Cooper.
And we're happy to give all that on, WLM letterhead and all that, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. We've got a good structure in place as it is for the time being. We're happy to keep that, just relocate it to another, to Florida out of where we are with him here. But otherwise keep that, you go to work and you go home, and that's that. In another 3 months or so, we might be in a different position.
Sure. You can put that and change it to a 24-hour curfew, except for the work. So if the work schedule, if he works till, if it's summer and he works till 8 o'clock at night, that's fine, as long as he supplies that schedule. So it's basically saying, you can't leave your house unless you're doing, one of these things.
Right. And, he's not going down to like Panama City to go hang out or anything. It would just be to go there and supervise, I don't know, the building of an apartment, something.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to send me the amended and then say that you'll give how much notice? We have 2 weeks notice, or, you obviously want to give the state or the ankle monitoring company, sorry, I think my camera went blurred, notice that he's going, not call today and say he's going tomorrow. So can you give at least a week's notice, sir? Do would you get at least a week?
Yeah, I could definitely do a week notice.
Okay.
They could work around that.
So I'd say, Mr. Cooper, like no less than a week's notice. Right, Mr. Roderick, is that good?
Yes, Your Honor, with the duration that he's going to be there.
Right, and the duration, time, address he's going to be working, where he's going to be staying, as much.
Right. Yeah. Job site, hotel location, as best as we know the schedule, and then any developments will keep everybody abreast. Did you want me to draw up that modification order and send that in?
Yeah, and you can just send it. You can send it to Miss Robinson. She'll put her email in there, but she'll get it straight to me, and I'll sign it and shoot it back.
He should have my email from where he got the notice to appear today.
I do.
And if he's gonna, and you can still leave it there, like where it says must reside at Hickory Hills, that, if he's in Georgia, that's where he has to reside. Obviously if he's somewhere else, he has to, do what he has to do. But sir, here's the thing, if you're out and you're in Florida, you still have to let the ankle monitoring company know, hey, maybe we're working late. You gotta call them ahead of time, or else you're gonna get wrapped up in something and get in trouble when you don't need to. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Best of luck to you, sir. And I'll keep that mailbox on. I'll keep an eye on my mailbox for the order.
That sounds great, Judge. I appreciate it.
All All right, let's see.
Judge, if we could address position number 3, Randall Zachary, the one you skipped. It looks like there was an order modifying bond signed by Judge Dempsey on 3/16. So I think that one has been resolved.
Okay, all right, good deal. What about John Daniels?
He's present, Judge. He's in my office.
All right. Let's see, this is 22 CP 207401, John Daniels, trafficking in marijuana, possession of firearm or knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and it looks like bond modification. Bostic, anything I need to know?
Yes.
Ray, tell me about it.
It appears that he's sitting in his office. He got arrested 4/11/23 in California for possession charge.
Not,
not
a,
you.
not a new offense, Judge. We're not aware of that.
Was he arrested on, was he been in California?
Yes.
Was he arrested on, I mean, old offense or whatever? Has he just been in jail and just got out?
No, he's actually been out. He's been out and about.
Let me pull it up again. It has it on there for 4/11. Let me read it, and then I'll read exactly what it says. It's cycle 14 on his GCIC for the California part. It has his name listed, John Fitz. I'm gonna say the whole middle name. Daniels, arrest, detained, cited, photo available, felon/addict, POS/ETC, etc. firearm. And then it has the code. And then it says severity felon, and the arrest date is 4/11/23.
Does it have the incident date?
It does not have the incident date. It just has the arrest date. His arrest there before then was 8/19/2020.
Yeah. So you're saying 6 days ago he was arrested in California?
That's what this has. Okay. Arresting agency is CAPDLA 77.
Well, he's got the ankle monitor attached to him. Generally speaking, when you get arrested, they cut off the ankle monitors. It's still attached to him.
Okay. Well, you might need to look at the arrest case number that's listed on here is 658-4-795-321-60686.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. We're asking, he's 13 months. He's been out on ankle monitor. We contend no issues. Pretrial has something different, according to his NCIC, I assume. Mm-hmm. And I'll have to cross-reference that, but here he is. He's in my office here in Atlanta. And we're asking that the ankle monitor be removed. It's got a very robust case. What the facts were is that he was at a friend of a friend's house here in Atlanta, and police came in, raided the house. He was asleep in one of the bedrooms. He was the only one at the house at the time. He didn't live at the house. He was just visiting. He told law enforcement that. They actually said they were going to let him go. They came into the house. Inside one of the closets, they found marijuana. He doesn't even know where the gun was found that they're alleging is tied to him. But because of the weight of the amount of marijuana, they said they had to charge somebody, and they wound up charging Mr. Daniels with that offense. And so it's a robust case. It's been retained throughout the pendency of the case. I'm handling the case all the way through. We plan to file a demand once the case does get indicted. I don't understand why the case hasn't been indicted. Marijuana gets tested on scene, gets tested down at Atlanta Police Department. But nonetheless, here we are 13 months later without an indictment. We're asking that the ankle monitor be removed. He's in and out of homes every day, works for his uncle in a construction business where he has to have contact with customers. And he wears pants every day, but nonetheless, he's got an ankle monitor affixed to his person.
Okay. It says the state.
Your Honor, we don't see a reason to remove the ankle monitor, especially since He just returned from California. The fact that the case is still open, whether or not there was a new arrest in California or not, we still need to have an ability to track the person until the case is resolved, especially now that there is some discrepancy as to whether or not there was a new arrest. There's no reason to actually remove the ankle monitor from the state's perspective.
Well, we usually don't like to leave it on over a year, but just need some clarity on was he just arrested, or I mean, I don't know what they do in LA. Maybe they write a ticket. I don't know. Did he just get out of jail for something, Mr. Daniels? I mean, only your client would know. Are you talking to me, Mr. Daniels? Because I can't. You're still on mute.
No, Judge, I was talking to him. I understand now what happened. So basically, he's going through TSA. There's a firearm in the bag of one of the people that he's traveling with. There's 3 people. All 3 people were cited and let go. I guess they did do fingerprints at the airport. He was one of the people that was caught up in that. But it's a firearm.
He needs to get some new friends.
Well, I understand that. No, the truth of the matter is,
I'm just throwing that out there.
his underlying case is a great case. I mean, he didn't live at the residence. He showed the officer that he had a bag packed, and there was marijuana found in the closet. So, regardless of his 14 cycles, he's got a great case here that should defeat.
I mean, I'm just saying. It sounds like he needs to get some new friends.
No, I agree.
At their house, and then he's traveling with somebody.
I get it. I mean, it's simply it's crazy to me. It's 13 months into it, and we still don't have an indictment. I mean, that alone.
So here's my only concern: is this was a possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Mhm.
So if there's a gun in one bag, how'd they charge 3 people?
That's a great question. Exactly. I guess nobody claimed it.
You know, because you may want to hope that nobody revokes this. I mean, state doesn't move to revoke his bond here.
And Your Honor, that was one of the charges in this case is possession of a firearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a complaint room packet, but he doesn't even know where the firearm was found. That was when they raided the house.
That's why the bond that he had was set like that, because there was still no copies of any warrants. It was one of those warrantless things, unless now it's probably in there through the jail. All right, well, it's been over a year. I mean, and that's, you know, I spoke about Judge McBurney. He said anything over a year, or you know, you folks can indict it. So you can send me an order, I'll remove it. But like I said, I can't. If he was, you know, I can't tell him what's going to happen if the state wants to do something, you know, since he was arrested for that. But send me, just email the order, Miss Robinson. Okay.
I'll do that, Judge. Thank you.
Best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Daniels, look up some new friends. All right. What about all right, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Lumpkin? I see you've been waiting patiently. Thank you, sir. All right, this is 22 CP 213-199 terroristic threats and acts. He's out on a $40,000 good bond. Anything I need to know, Boston?
No new details.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Walsh.
Yeah. Good evening, Your Honor. Thank you. We were in front of Your Honor January 30th when you set bond. Gave him a 24-hour curfew with an ankle monitor. Once he was released, he couldn't go back to his former employer, but he did find a new employer, which is NBC 38 in Columbus, Georgia. He works in advertising sales in both their TV and their internet and special events. He works 8:30 to 5:30 every day, drives 126 miles every day to Columbus to work in their office. He also has to meet people off-site as far as clients in doing sales. Wears a suit every day with the ankle monitor underneath it. We're asking if it can be removed. I understand potentially your position based on some former hearings this evening, but I do think there's a couple unique circumstances here. And to do that, I get into the facts very briefly. The conduct in question is an email and a video that Atlanta Police Department received a complaint on. The email cites two things that could potentially be considered a threat. One, calling the recipients demons, and two, it's the statement, "What happens in the dark always comes to the light." Second thing was a video that Mr. Lumpkin posted on his own social media months before any of these allegations. It's a video of him doing an interpretive dance type thing in his car to a rap song, and the allegation is that was transmitted to these three people after a business, he believed a business deal was stolen from him by his former employer, iHeartRadio. Mr. Lumpkin voluntarily met with APD to discuss the matter before he had any counsel, and then they arrested him. The police report specifically mentions an offense code of intimidation. And I do think, based on the conduct, a misdemeanor at worst or harassing and intimidating communications are going to be the most likely charges to come out of this type of case. Two of the three people that are mentioned in the bond order to have no contact are no longer employed at iHeartRadio due to some issues of racial discrimination and other discriminatory actions. This case is still not indicted, and it's affecting Mr. Lumpkin's ability to do his job and to close deals with these potential clients. We're just asking that the bond order with the 24-hour curfew and ankle monitor be removed, but to keep in effect the no contact provisions, as I think that would kind of address the issue, which was communications that were not done directly. They were done through email, and I guess text is the other allegation.
Yeah, because it says, because my notes say he one of the messages Mr. Lumpkin ended with, "You can tell them what I said and let them know we can play 3-on-3 with my little friends below." In the next message, it followed a video of a masked male subject who is sitting in the driver's seat of a vehicle in possession of three assault rifles. In the background of the video, there was music playing the lyrics, fuck where you from, fuck how you feel. If you want to go to war, I'll take you to war. I got an AK-47 and a tech in the car.
That may have been the song, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay. Not familiar with it, but I guess I could have rapped it, but I didn't know. Ms. Broderick, go ahead. Maybe you know the song.
I don't, Your Honor. The state is actually vehemently opposed to removing the ankle monitor. We have not heard anything that would warrant taking the ankle monitor off. The people who, this video that was sent with the firearms in the vehicle was text to an employee. The fact that one of the employees is not there anymore has no bearing on the fact that this was a threat that was communicated to a former employer. And so the individuals who are still working at this company and at this location are still afraid, Your Honor. The fact that he travels, or he's allowed to work, the fact that he has the ankle monitor on doesn't hinder his ability to talk to customers, just because it doesn't go along with his fashion sense, which is under the suit pants that he's wearing, doesn't change the fact that the victims are afraid. We still don't know the status of the firearms that were actually in the vehicle at the time this message was sent. We can speculate as to whether or not he was interpreting a song, but the fact that he had animosity towards the employees, and then this video was sent to employees of the company, just shows that there was an intent to intimidate, and that's what actually happened. So removing the ankle monitor, it serves no purpose for us, preventing him from going to the location or being anywhere near any of the individuals. And as a matter of fact, the order, I believe, lists one of the accusers as Christopher Lane. His name is actually Christopher Jones. But we haven't heard anything that would warrant removal of the ankle monitor, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Wells, there's have you heard me talk about the Talatrix? It looks like a smartwatch, like a Garmin watch.
I've heard you mention it in the hearings. I'm not familiar with it, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's a Talitrix. If you look it up, though, it kind of looks like a Garmin running watch. I don't have mine on, but you know, it kind of looked like that. You go under, so it's not as, I get it. I did that for somebody else because it was like a work thing. It ends up being the same price, and it's part of this whole contract that the county had with Orca.
And I think it's important, Your Honor, to note that as Attorney Walsh mentioned, Mr. Lumpkin travels back and forth for work or what have you. And so that even further adds to the fact that the monitoring is necessary.
So, I mean, that'd probably help. That'd probably help Mr. Walsh, though, because it's, like I said, it looks like a Garmin watch.
Judge, if I can speak with him and then I guess present an order to you if he would prefer that.
Sure. Yeah, I got the clerks doing everything else, and you just say replace the ankle monitor with Talatrix, and then I guess he has to get up with the people at Talatrix, go have the ankle monitor removed, and they put it on.
And Your Honor, can you explain the difference between the Talatrix and the ankle monitor?
Oh, man, that's pop
I
quiz.
mean, for the record, is the monitoring the same?
It's still monitoring. It's still GPS monitoring. For instance, if these victims, I know one thing they have is there's an app where these victims, they can't track him, but they can set some parameters and say, okay, if he comes within a mile of like the iHeartRadio location, it would let the ankle monitoring company would let the authorities know that he's within a mile of that address. So, it's, especially if you got somebody where there's violence, it gives the alleged victim some safety and security, but it's the same thing. And it still electronic monitoring, but I think it's just there's apps and different ways to track it and different ways people can track it. But kind of it's like a new and improved ankle monitor, and it's less less stigmatizing because it's not really. Plus, you don't have to necessarily sit there and with it plugged into a wall. I think you plug a charger and it just kind of connects to it, so you can charge it, holds the charge longer, things like that. So.
Judge, I'll speak with him about it after this and see if that's something that he wants to consider.
I don't know, sir, if you know what a Garmin watch looks like, but if you Google, it's kind of a really big watch. It does like GPS. Yeah, so you can Google it because it is. I mean, it's a round face, but it's like a GPS watch. I mean, just like the running watch. You really can't tell the difference except that there's like a snap that you can't take it off.
Judge, I think Mr. Lumpkin might have a question.
Yeah, you got a question for me, Mr. Lumpkin, or you got a question for?
No, I agree with doing that because it would help me out greatly.
So I don't know if you already wear a watch, so you feel free, Mr. Walsh, Google it, Talitrix. You can see a picture of it.
Okay.
And Your Honor, does it act the same way in terms of the ankle monitor whereas Mr. Lumpkin can't remove it on his own?
Yep. Sure does. Yeah, it's got a band right there that keeps him from removing it. And of course, same thing. Tampering, all that's exactly it's like an ankle monitor, but it's for your wrist. Same exact thing. Talitrix.
And can you? I'm not sure how your. Does it show that one of the accusers is Christopher Jones, or does it say Christopher Lane?
Yeah, so I guess, and if you could modify that on there, Mr. Walsh, just say, and the victim is actually Christopher Jones instead of Lane.
And that's fine, Judge. And then just one final question, just to understand for Mr.
Lumpkin.
Does he still have to report to? Is it a different company that handles that? Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of the company, Talatrix.
As far as his schedule goes and things like that.
Right, that's the name of the company, Talatrix. But they'll give him everything he needs to know.
Okay.
So I mean, and he's got it if he's driving down there, and as long as he's supplying it, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, if you shoot me the order, I'll be glad to sign it, and then he'll just have to get in touch. They'll take off the ankle monitor and put that on.
Okay, and they've got a local office or something, I'd imagine.
Right. I mean, they've come to the jail, but yeah, their office is in Alpharetta. They got their offices in Alpharetta. So, like I said, if you Google it, it's talatrix.com.
Okay, and then one final question. Apologize for taking all this time. Is there the best contact? I'm asking maybe the district attorney's office, this one, as far as updates to his schedule, things like that, meetings he may have, best contact for.
Ms. Broderick says it's not assigned to it's not assigned to a courtroom. Who should he send that to?
You can send that to me and I'll make sure it gets to whoever it's supposed to go to.
Okay, is there, what's your email, Ms. Broderick?
You can put it in you want to do it or you want to put it in the chat or else,
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank
you might
you
get a
so-
whole bunch of hate mail. I've got
Thank you so much.
I mean, you won't get hate mail from Mr. Walsh, but you might get hate mail from somebody else. All right, so yeah, and I think you just have to reach out to them. And like I said, once you Google it, you can call them or somebody does some paperwork and they'll get it going.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. What about Marcia Martin?
Good evening, Judge.
Evening. All right, Ms. Martin, if you turn your camera. Yes, Martin. Thank you, sir. Yes, Mr. Lumpkin, you can leave.
Thank you.
Marcia Martin. All right. All right, this is position 6, 22 CP 210341, Marcia Martin, out on a $50,000 bond, criminal damage to property and reckless conduct. Free.
Nothing new to report.
All right, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, Judge. Ms. Martin has been out on bond for over 9 months now. She was given a bond on a property damage chart, or it was a property damage and reckless
Criminal damage to
conduct
property.
charge.
Criminal damage to property.
Yes. And she's had an ankle monitor for that entire time. Now, Miss Martin hasn't had any issue. She was originally subject to pretrial services, but she's been maxed out. She hasn't had any issues on bond. So we asked that her ankle monitor be removed.
All right, what do you say, Ms. Broderick? I'm pulling it up.
So the reason that the ankle monitor is being requested to be removed is because she's been wearing it for 90 days?
No, it's not 90 days. She has been wearing it the entire time. She's been out on bond for over 9 months and she hasn't had any, she hasn't been indicted yet.
So she was on pretrial. So what was under pretrial? The reckless conduct or criminal damage to property?
I believe it was the criminal damage to property.
Your Honor, the state would defer to your wonderful expertise.
Let me see. Has there been any contact with this victim here? Let's see.
No, she's complied with all conditions of her bond.
So about the
Who's that on
state.
pretrial on the criminal damage?
Oh, okay.
The reckless is 50 by itself.
Yeah, has the state had any contact with the victim?
No, Your Honor.
Oh.
I have not, so I can't speak for anybody
Okay.
else.
All right, hold on. See, So this alleges that she shot at a silver Tahoe, striking it about 11 times.
Those are the allegations.
Yeah. Get it.
Judge, FYI, during her time on pretrial, she was actually always compliant, no issues, problems or concerns.
Okay. And where's she living? Still living at the same address in Atlanta?
Yes, I believe so, Your Honor.
Let's see. Oh, so she got out July 3rd. Does your victim's advocate know if there's been any contact with this?
Your Honor, I actually looked at the notes and I don't see any notes about any communication. Typically the victim's advocates send us a message if the victim is going to be on or if they have any kind of hindrance.
All right, let's see. Make sure I pull up this other bond. All right, here's what I will do. I don't think this is a bond that I did. So let me see. No. All right. So subsequently, all right, she was compliant with them and she kept going, so we'll remove it. I'll tell you what, she can get it off May 15th. How about that?
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that way, if they get one more, let me see, what is that? Is that a Saturday? I want to make sure, I don't know what day of the week it is. I don't want to give you a messed up date.
Judge, that's a Monday.
Okay, yeah, May 15th. How about that? May 15th, like after 1 p.m. That way they won't, or 9 a.m. or something. I mean, you put after 9 a.m. and that way she can show up anytime that day and they can take it off. All right, but still no guns, no alcohol, no weapons. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
And Your Honor, would we still have to stay away?
Yeah, still have to stay away. Still have the same conditions to stay away and no further contact. Yeah, so all we're doing is just taking that off, okay?
And Judge, Ms. Hyman is going to submit that order.
Yeah, just email me that order, I think.
Okay.
Or email it to Miss Robinson. Anybody else? Anything else? Nope. I think that's everybody. Thank you, Miss Martin. Stay healthy and safe. Anybody else? No, think we're finished. All right, let me stop the stream here.
Good night, everyone.